Morning everyone, it's day 63 and we've got some new additions to the crew here on board. Got Dave.
Hi.
There's my mum.
Hello.
And now Darcy squashed in the middle. God love Darcy. He's a teenager, he's been up at 4 o'clock for the past 17 days. This is not what he needs right now. But he's sticking with it. His endurance challenges is as hard as mine. We are doing something a bit odd today. Basically, I'm going back to the end of day 61 and just near the start of day 62, because yesterday, because of the bridge closure, I walked an extra mile and I went past the bottom of the end of day 61. I didn't actually go and connect it. It's only about like 100 meters. It's like a tiny little bit, but I forgot to go back up and connect the dots. So we're now driving an hour back so I can do that 100 meters, because I don't know, I just feel like it has to be done. It's maybe a bit overkill on the detail, and it's silly of me yesterday. I just completely, I don't know what, I mean, I was looking at the views, whatever, and I did more distance than it would have been if I'd have got to the end point of the day before anyway. But in the spirit of being completist about this and actually doing all of it and making all my routes connect, we are now on the road back to that. Then we're gonna have to come back here to where I finished yesterday, and then I will start today's run, which will be 32 miles into Ulm. So yeah, a little bit of craziness happening here, but then that's what my mum and Dave are here for, to add the extra crazy. So we're all good, feeling good. And today actually, because they all got up really early from Munich and came here, it means that I'm not going to have to run with a pack today, so that's a big bonus. And I'll have my crew back, so that's fantastic. So anyway, we are on our way down there now. So we did it. We've done this 100 meters all together. Yeah, connecting the dots. 2 hour round trip to do 100 meters.
Champion!
How are you feeling?
Knackered.
So I'm now on the move for today's actual stage after what's probably like a 2 hour round trip to do the 100 meters or 0.1 of a mile to connect the dots. And I've got 37 miles between me and Ulm. I'm just heading down now to the river. So it's gonna be a long one today, or gonna be a late finish, I think. This is possibly the latest I've started of any of the days yet. And I've got quite a long way to go. I think it's actually 37 miles to reach Ulm. So yeah, need to lock in for this one now and get it done. But I've got the crew back, so that's definitely going to help. Anyway, let's hope we hit some nice paths. Let's go get some running done. So I've just ticked over 21 miles. I'm now getting close to Ulm, which is the end destination for today. I'm not too sure how far it is, so I'm taking a little bit of a different route than the signpost suggests. It could be anywhere between 13 and 20 miles, I'm not too sure. One thing I've had a question quite a lot recently from people is, how do you find the motivation to get up and run every day like this? How do you kind of get out there when the going gets tough? And I just wanted to answer that in today's video whilst I'm having a little walk break. And I've been thinking about it all morning, because today, well, the last couple of days have been quite difficult, but the answer really is I don't think I really believe in motivation. I think everybody's constantly talking about motivation, and I think a lot of people, or me included, it's easy to sort of see it as something that you're waiting for motivation to strike. You're waiting for the motivation to appear suddenly out of the ether, to feel motivated, for something else to motivate you externally. You know, you're looking for things to give you, I think, sort of that permission to go and do it, but I actually don't believe that it exists. I think it's a bit of a fallacy. And here's what I do. I get up, I put my kit on, I go outside and I start, and that is it. And then the motivation sort of comes, if motivation exists or whatever. By doing the movement, you know, by getting out there, all the fear melts away, all of the doubts about whether or not I can do it seems to disappear. Yes, it can still be a struggle. Yes, it can still kind of hurt, but once you're moving, you don't really think about motivation. And the trick really is just to start doing. And I think you've just got to start doing whether or not you feel like it or not. Don't wait for somebody to make you feel like it, I guess, really. That's how I've had to do it. There's been mornings when I'm just, you know, maybe I haven't felt like it, but if I sit around in my hotel room or sit around waiting for motivation to strike, I'm going to be there all day. Best thing to do, get your kit on, get out there, crack on with it, and then see what happens. And more often than not, you've got what it takes to get it done. And that is it. I think motivation is a bit of a misnomer. I've just, my recommendation is just to action trumps motivation for sure. So safely landed in Ulm after stage 63. That is the cathedral in the background. It's actually the morning after yesterday's running, so I got back really late. Didn't finish until about 5 o'clock yesterday due to the kind of late start at 10. Still ran pretty well, but I was tired last night. I had to get food and changed, and logistically I got a bit late to do the video. So I'm back out here early in the morning. I'm about to set off in about probably half an hour for today's run. And first night in the camper van last night, which was good. I actually slept really well, but it presents some different logisticals I'll go into later on in the other video for tomorrow. But let's talk about yesterday basically. My mum is here. Let's talk about that. That's amazing. So she arrived at my hotel in the morning, and that was a really, really lovely surprise. I didn't realise they were going to come. I thought they were coming at the end of the run. That was my motivation to get through the run, but she arrived early in the morning, gave me a massive hug and sent me off with a big smile. And then having my mum and her partner popping up on the route, crewing alongside my sister and my nephew Darcy, was really lovely. It was fantastic. She's got such a good sense of humour, and she's sort of full of jokes and laughs and what have you, so it's impossible to be a big old grump. And she was great, sort of filling my water bottles and doing all those kind of things that you need, and asking me 17 times if I need 14 different chocolate bars, making sure that I'm eating right. So that was great, and I ran really well yesterday, to be honest. It was it got hot during the day. It went up because I was running later. I ran more in the midday sun, and so I had to suffer quite a lot of sort of 27, 28. and I got some shade. We were running again, just long stretches of these dyke trails right next to the river. Again, where there's no one, it feels really isolated here when you're running outside of the towns where I am now. You know, it's almost, yeah, I don't know, you sort of feel all on your own, which can be great. I had a really good run. It's nice and flat, and I enjoyed those trails again. It's perfect running territory. If you're out to do sort of 10Ks or 13 miles or whatever, this kind of area would just be such fantastic running training ground. It is very beautiful. It did start to get a tad monotonous yesterday at parts because, you know, it's straight shots and it's like the 4th, 5th day that I've been doing these kind of similar routes, but that was fine. And I basically up to about 20 miles, I guess it's maybe like about 5 hours in, I was fine. And then all of a sudden I got a bit overheated and cooked, and I just sort of flipped a switch. So I had to sit in the car for a bit of aircon for a while, Morgan. And then outside that last kind of 2 hours, I decided just to ease off the gas. I took it easy. And then the running gods smiled upon me because this huge monster cloud moved in above me, covered the entire sun. It was such a weird visual as well. It was like a sweeping kind of semicircle of cloud that covered the sun right in the middle, and then beneath it was this brilliant blue sky like it was summer, and it was sort of moving along with me behind me. I was almost like racing the storm, essentially. A bit back over there was a big thunderstorm, and I had to sort of well, I was just hoping I wasn't going to get wet, but what it meant was the last section of the run was really nice and cool. And then I hit the outskirts of Ulm, which were just beautiful. I saw the Osmfant asked, like, how far out are you going to see the cathedral rising, and I think it was probably about sort of 2 miles out maybe. I saw the spire of the cathedral, and then I knew I was going to hit Ulm. So thanks for Osmfant, because I didn't know that was going to happen. Once I saw that, I was like, you're nearly there. And then coming in through the outskirts of Ulm was wonderful. You know, just started to hit these proper kind of paved paths, and lots more cyclists, lots more activity, lots more people doing their things, people rowing on the river, lots of life, and just coming into what is essentially, I mean, you can sort of see it behind me here. It's this beautiful riverside city that just feels wonderful and lively, and yeah, it was sort of a happy place to come into. And I just started to really enjoy that, actually. Again, you know, from the struggle at 20, for those last, I guess the last 5 miles in, I really started to enjoy myself and made it down to the campsite, which is right on the river down here, where I met my mum and my sister. Then my wife and my son came back with a camper van. They'd been to pick it up in Zurich, and now we're in the camper van for the remainder of the journey. And we have got 4 runs to go. I just had a check, so I'm allowing myself to do that, and I've got 123 miles to go approximately, according to the plan. My commute planning hasn't always been bang on because the routes sometimes are subject to change, but that's about 31 miles a day. So we are close now. We are very close. I'm in good spirits. I feel pretty strong. I think I've got the start of a cold emerging, but that's maybe just the immune system sort of starting to kick in. But big one today, basically. You know, we're in those final 4. Got to go and run strong again today. Going to get out a bit earlier so we avoid the crazy sun. But anyway, I should be talking about today. This is the video of yesterday, but I'm doing it today, and yeah, it all gets a bit confusing. But anyway, you know what I mean. So from the river in Ulm, I will leave you and go and get on with the run today.